you're a bar or a club that stays open till 4 o'clock in the morning, then in a way your customers need something. I mean, whether they take coke or they take other drugs, they're not going to be out till 4 o'clock in the morning otherwise. Everyone does it, you know, young people, training people, old people, business people, everyone.
If you go into a bar, if you run your finger across the toilet roll dispenser in the toilet, you will have a white finger. There is coke use.
According to a recent study, over 95% of the toilets in London's bars and pubs have cocaine residue. In fact, Europe is now consuming more cocaine than anywhere else in the world.
You know, it used to be the drug of the higher classes, and now, you know, you'll get builders who sit in a pub all day snorting cocaine, and everyone's on it, regardless of class, what they do for a job. It's almost as acceptable as drinking, for my generation anyway.
Nowhere is Europe's cocaine consumption more prevalent than in the UK. I began my journey in London to understand the drug's newfound popularity.
So this is actually one of the best bits, when you line up 4 lines and there's 4 people, and the way that it goes and the way that they approach it and try to get the best one.
I don't know how much the actual high is necessary. I think it's the ritual. It might be coke, but it's, you know, the ritual's there, the chopping and the cutting and all these things are all part of ritual and all part of a social situation of sharing it.
Like going to the toilet with someone, like with a group of 3 or 4 people, and then just basically just go around the toilet seat and just talking it lining up and going through some bullshit banter about who goes first, second and that lot.
In the past 10 years, the average price of a gram of cocaine has been cut in half, from 60 pounds to 30 pounds. And at such low prices, demand has increased.
It's not even addiction, it's like moreish. Once you've had a little bit, you want more and more and more. It's ruined some of my nights before when we haven't got cocaine, because we could have just had a nice drink and had a good night, but instead someone's mentioned the word cocaine and everyone's out to get it, and that's all they're interested in. From the point of view of a dealer, it's a great drug to sell, really, because the number of times that I've been 5 o'clock in the morning, we've been phoning everyone we know to try and get some more cocaine. You know, for a drug dealer, it's a very good drug to sell, it's very profitable.
Today, Europe is consuming an average of 146 tons of cocaine every year. In order to meet the demand, drug lords in South America, the world's foremost supplier of cocaine, have had to overcome the geographical challenge that previously limited their access to Europe. In the last 5 years, they found an easier route, via West Africa.
If you look at the globe, you can see immediately that West Africa is the closest point of entry for cocaine cultivated in Latin America. With globalization, with the lowering of border control, with the movements of commodities and goods and services and people across all borders, traffickers can choose the so-called path of least resistance. So West Africa is a region of the world of least resistance.
The nations along West Africa are some of the poorest and most underdeveloped in the world. The lack of drug enforcement, thousands of miles of unpoliced beaches, and rampant corruption make it a perfect transit point for drug trafficking.
A kid that is consuming drugs is certainly enslaving more and more Africans, dead segments of Africa that are part of the process of shipping cocaine into Europe.
To better understand how so much cocaine from Africa is making its way into Europe, I headed to southern Italy, one of the easiest access points into the European cocaine market. I arrived in Castelvolturno, a suburb 20 miles north of Naples, that's allegedly become one of the largest cocaine trafficking hubs in Europe. On the surface, Castelvolturno appears to be a small, picturesque Italian town. Located by the sea, it's famed for its tomato fields and mozzarella cheese made from buffalo's milk. In the 60s, the area was built up as a seaside resort town. Later, immigrants from Africa began flocking here in search of jobs in nearby farms. But the economy has long since collapsed, and today, jobs are scarce.
as early morning as possible, as early as 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you will see the boxes filled up. They go to where they look for work, but at the end of the day, the boxes are filled up again, returning back. Because only the few of them can manage to get some job. Most of them, they left their home country because they're coming here to survive well, but getting to this place, they met a different story.
Since I'm here, I didn't get a good job to do in this country.
So you had heard that other Ghanaians who'd gone to Italy had done well and they had a good life, but you got here and that wasn't the reality at all.
Yes. When I came here, I didn't see anything like that. And if you go to town, you can't get away.
Right.
And you come back house empty. Even to eat is very difficult.
The thousands of Africans who've come to Castelvolturno find they've arrived in one of Europe's most lawless towns, ruled by the local mafia, known as the Camorra. The Camorra is one of Italy's most brutal mafia families, sometimes executing opponents in broad daylight. For years, the Camorra has run Europe's largest drug market, raking in over €500,000 a day. And with unemployment in the area so high, they have a steady flow of desperate immigrants willing to help them sell cocaine.
The people, we meet them here, they have collaboration with the Camorrists. You understand? Camorrists give them house, Camorrists give them everything. And they show you money, they show you big house, they show you car, they show you freedom, which is fake.
Would you say that most people you know in this area have at one point dealt cocaine?
When they get chance, they do it. Even good people, he arrive today, tomorrow. When he see chance, he do it because he don't eat yesterday. He don't eat today. Tomorrow, what is going to eat? I've been working in factory. He give me 15 euro a day. Another man tell me that, let me give you chance to have 100 euro. 1 hour, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Take the €100.
Thank you.
Coming up.
Most of my brothers are selling this. There's no other alternative. You're forced to go on selling drugs just to survive.
Every year, hundreds of West African immigrants arrive in Castelvolturno in search of a better life, only to find themselves living in crumbling vacation villas, often running drugs for the Camorra. We made our way to the Hotel Boomerang. Once a luxurious hotel, it's now home to those who've become addicted to the drugs they're selling.
There's clearly people living here. Oh, wow. Wow, look. You can see the crack right there. The remnants of the drugs right there. Check this out. This is propane to heat up the crack, and see over here. This is, used to snort it up, little tube like rolling up $1, and that's what's left. This is pretty creepy. My God, look at this place. Can you believe that this was once built to be like a paradise vacation land? And this is all that's left of it? It's garbage. Garbage everywhere. God. See, there's guys like living in tents and making shelter anywhere that they can.
Joe, da quando stai mostrato qua?
There's no work. There's no job. Most of my brothers are selling this. There's no work. Then coming here to work, to help yourself, to help your family, and that there's no other alternative. You're forced to go on selling drugs just to survive. The little stone, so sweet, that destroys one's life.
How long you been in Castelvolturno?
Castelvolturno, I think I'm going to 1 year something.
You've been here for about 1 year? Did you expect that this was the life that you were coming to? No. What were you expecting?
Expecting better life than this one. It's too hard, bro. It's too hard. Too much thinking. Depression. Yeah, chronic depression in my head. You know? But when I leave home, I never get type of this problem.
Who are the guys that bring it over from Africa, the cocaine?
From Africa?
Yes, coming from there.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Africa is transit.
Africa's transit?
Yeah. Close it first. I don't know.
Yeah, close it first, yeah. No problem. So you sold a whole kilo of cocaine?
That's 100 balls. 100 balls of 10 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then sometimes I have 2 kilos, yeah. That's 3.
You've been able to take 3 kilos?
3.
In your bag?
Yeah.
So you'll swallow 1 kilo and take 2 more?
Yeah.
Carry them with you?
I've traveled 11 times.
You've done it 11 times?
11 times. With British passport. Can you imagine the kind of money I have there?
How much money was that?
A kilo cost 35,000. You know?
Street value is about 35,000?
Yeah, this 30,000.
That's a lot of money.
Men like this have become increasingly more common, moving from small-time drug dealing for the Camorra to working as mules, trafficking cocaine straight from West Africa. Curious as to why authorities couldn't do more to stop it, I went to meet Italy's top anti-mafia prosecutor, Piero Grasso.
In Nigeria o in paesi vicini alla Nigeria, dei punti di stoccaggio per la cocaina che proviene dal Sud America e attraverso corrieri che spesso ingeriscono ovuli con dentro la droga, con questi invadono poi i mercati della droga in Europa. In un volo ce n'è 40, ne becchi 1 o 2, ma gli altri passano.
The few suspects that are apprehended at the airport are brought to the hospital in Castelvolturno. Every month, doctors see an average of 3 African immigrants suspected of ingesting cocaine.
What is this image?
This image is a CT scan on a patient with the presence of a drug in the rectal ampulla. This is the spine, the sacrum. This material, white and black together, means the presence of a drug in this portion.
So when you see white and black together, that means it's cocaine in there?
Yeah.
So how much cocaine is that?
300 grams.
So you sometimes will see about 3 or 4 of these. It's about the size of an egg?
Yeah. 3 or 4 like this, or 2 like this.
If something does go wrong, if the bag does rupture, what happens immediately? Do they die instantly, or does it take time?
I think they have a few seconds of life.
About a few seconds of life?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
As mules continue to increase the flow of cocaine into Europe, many Nigerians have started breaking away from the Camorra to go into business for themselves. In order to fund their own cocaine trafficking operations, Nigerian crime syndicates have turned to trafficking women for prostitution. Every year, Nigerian gangsters lure African women to Italy with the promise of a job. But upon arrival, they're forced to work as prostitutes in order to pay off what their traffickers claim is a travel debt. This woman, like many others, was promised a job as a hairdresser, but when she arrived, was forced to work as a prostitute to help fund the cocaine trade.
They know that if they tell somebody back there in Africa that is going to come here for prostitution, no one will come. So they just have to lie to say they have a very big store here for hairdressing. But at the end of the day, you will find out that the story is different.
So how much of a debt do you have to pay off?
60,000 euro.
60,000 euro?
Yeah.
Did you have any concept of how much money that was?
No.
How much did they pay you to?
Well, they used to pay 10 euro.
10 euro?
Yeah, for one person.
If you only get 10 euro per person and you have to pay off 60,000 euro,
Yeah.
that's 6,000 men?
Coming up.
My brother was lying down there, whether running away from the bullets or what. One is there, another one is there. It's 13 bullets.
Bolstered by the profits made from trafficking cocaine and women for prostitution, Nigerian crime syndicates slowly began making Cassavolturno their European headquarters.
Allora, dapprima, fino a 4-5 anni fa, noi pensavamo che si occupasse soltanto di gestire la prostituzione e il piccolo spaccio di stupefacenti. Invece più recenti indagini hanno accertato che la mafia nigeriana è una vera e propria organizzazione criminale di tipo mafioso.
Taking lessons from years of watching the Camorra, the Nigerian mafia developed their own method of control by instilling a climate of fear and intimidation.
They beat me, they tied my eyes, they broke my leg.
Have they become more powerful than the Camorra in this area?
They will become more powerful, and they are already powerful because they are already doing whatever nonsense they want.
As the Nigerian mafia consolidated their power, the Camorra has begun to lose control of a territory they've run for centuries. A police crackdown on the Camorra further allowed the Nigerians to aggressively compete for control of the area. A turf war began, escalating in a gruesome hit last September. A car and several scooters drove by a tailor shop. Camorra gunmen pulled out an AK-47 and semi-automatic pistols, gunning down 6 African immigrants. The incident was considered a signal from the Camorra to the West African community that they had overstepped their bounds in the cocaine market. On our last day in Cassavolturno, we headed to meet the brother of one of the victims who continues to live above the tailor shop where the massacre took place.
Tell me a little bit what happened a couple months ago.
The thing was very terrible. Here, 6 people was dead here.
It was right here. Where were they?
One was in front of here, was in the car where the same car was. My brother was lying down there, whether running away from the bullets or what. 13 bullets against him. Brutality. Right here. The blood was here. That's in blood. And the bullets that is against my brother was here. One is there, the small one, another one is there. It's 13 bullets.
As we continued our conversation, I didn't notice that the Camorra had begun to circle us on scooters, warning us to leave the story alone.
The controllers also are taking control.
Who's controlling?
The controllers. All this was examples of those. You want to know the type, and you know it. Don't let me voice out.
The Camorra's warning was enough to get us to leave the scene, but the African community had already reached its breaking point. Immediately following the shooting in September, riots broke out in Cassavolturno. The African community claimed the 6 men shot weren't drug dealers, and they demanded justice for the Camorra's actions. The riots left Cassavolturno even more devastated and divided. But as Europe's appetite for cocaine continues to grow, so do tensions over who controls the lucrative trade. Meanwhile, African immigrants continue to arrive here, only to find themselves in a more desperate place than the one they left behind.
And so what do you tell them when they come fresh off the boat?
We've been trying now to see how we can educate most of them, you know, that they should tell their other ones that are back home not to come or not to take that risk because it does not worth taking. The only way that will give them hope is for them to believe in God that things will be better.
How do you make somebody believe that things are going to... Do you think things are going to get better?
Well, from what I'm seeing now, there's no sign of improvement because people are too many. You see, the resources that is available for them is too small. For things to improve for them, the percentage is very, very low.
I'm still living here, nearly to 1 year. I'm still living here. I want to go with them.
Go with who?
With those who have died.
So, you wish they would be killed too?
Why not? Me, I'm saying still living here. Who will kill me? Let them go bury me. Those who have died, even they are free. We are living, we are suffering. Now we don't want to suffer. We want to die with them. That's all.